Today on this episode of Renix Garage, we're going to be talking about flex plates and why they make a difference on the Renix 4-liter Jeep motors. Stick around, it's going to be good. Welcome to the first video of 2021. Hope everyone had a great holiday. I know I did. And we've got a couple of different things we're going to be doing at the beginning of the year that are going to hopefully get things running for us. Today's video is going to be about flex plates. As most of you know, the Renix motors run from the mid-80s all the way up until 1990. After 1990, they changed over to what they call the HO motor. From 91 and up, all the way to the end of the 4-liter Cherokees, runs this same block. Major differences between the two flex plates, as you can see here, is this ring. Now the Renix has this ring with a lot of holes in it, spaced by these three larger holes, and they're all at 30 degrees from each other. The HO plate, I'll put a picture up here showing the two side by side and the differences. But the major difference you're going to see, it'll still have these three large holes, but these smaller holes are few and far between. They're much further spaced out. What that means for the Renix motors with this style of flex plate, it is allowing the crank position sensor to produce the correct voltage to tell the computer to fire the ignition coil. On the Renix motors, the connector for the CPS only has 2 wires. It does not have supplemental power. So you have to have a minimum of 0.5 volts when cranking. The newer HO motors require less voltage, plus they have a little bit more input from that third wire, which is somewhat of a 12-volt source. I've been on quite the journey the last 3 years chasing different issues on this Jeep, most of which have found to be something that needed to be taken care of, but were not the actual problem of the no-start condition. In previous videos, when I was working on changing the crank position sensor for the 3rd time, I realized that the flex plate felt a little differently than what was supposed to be on there. Doing enough research, come to find out that I'm almost 98% sure that the flex plate on this motor is off of a 91 or newer. The motor itself and the block is originally Renix, and it is supposed to have this cheese grater type of flex plate on it. So I'm hoping that changing this out is going to make this thing run for us. You'll be seeing that whole process in the next video. Also, when replacing a flex plate, maybe yours has gone bad and maybe have it cracked or whatever. If you do have a reason you need to go in there and replace this, be very mindful of where you get a replacement from. Many of the aftermarket manufacturers do not place these holes in the correct position. They'll be off, or the holes will be too big or too small. Sometimes they won't have enough. This particular flex plate was donated to me by one of the fellows in my Dirtbag Mafia Facebook group. If you ever see this, thanks buddy, I appreciate it. But this is an original Renix flywheel, straight off of his old Jeep. After he did a stroker, he didn't need this because he went to an HO plate with the rest of the HO conversion, the head, the intake, injector, so on and so forth. So he had this laying around, he didn't need it anymore. I'd posted that I needed one. He offered to send it to me, and I'm very appreciative of it. But that about wraps up this short little video. In the next one, we're going to be pulling the transmission, taking the old plate off, installing this new one, and make sure you tune in for that. It's going to be interesting. I have never actually attempted this on a Jeep. I have dropped the transmission on my El Camino, but never on a 4x4. It's going to be a different experience. So if you like the video, give it a thumbs up, comment, subscribe if you haven't. If you want to get in touch with me, I'm at Renix Garage on Instagram. Take care. We'll see you in the next one.